I met this woman named Teresa. She's the head of Forbes Mexico. We grabbed some smoothies at this wonderful place called Holistica in Tulum. And she invited me to a luxury real estate event in Tulum. And so my partner and I went, a ton of just wonderful people there. Funny enough, the event was spoken in Spanish completely. So we didn't really know what was going on, but we knew we were there for a bigger reason. And one of the people that was speaking there was the director of communications from Azulik. And I went and introduced myself. We exchanged numbers. I reached out to him. He didn't get back to me immediately, followed up, and I was like, hey, we want to come out to your guys' hotel and shoot for our brand. And they were like, we typically don't do that type of partnership, but send us some of your work. Send them some of our work. They invited us to go stay there for a night, create 3 reels. And so I would just say, like, the lesson there is putting yourself out there. You never know what opportunities are going to be created, but if you don't take the action, if you don't embrace that discomfort to get there, they won't be created. And also, it's the power of relationships too. Leveraging LinkedIn. When I went to Tulum, I made sure months before I arrived that I was already reaching out to people that lived there.
Welcome to Only the Savvy. I'm your host, Nicole, and today we have an incredible guest with us, Remington Rodney, the founder and creative director of Vurtual. With a passion for connecting, growth, and building thriving communities, Remington has made a name for himself in the Web3 space. From founding his clothing brand to becoming a leading figure in Web3 events and partnerships, Remington's journey is one of perseverance and adaptability. Let's dive in and explore his story today. Remington, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here and just be able to share my story, my journey. I think now more than ever.
Yes, absolutely. We're excited to hear this. So let's jump right to it. Can you tell us about your journey? How did you go from founding a clothing brand to becoming a leading figure in the Web3 space?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, founding Vurtual goes all the way back to 2018. I was literally 18 years old. I co-founded it with 2 of my best friends that I went to high school with, grew up playing soccer together. And really the origin of creating that brand was coming off of a dark time in my life. Unfortunately, I had to drop out of college at the University of Cincinnati because I surrounded myself with the wrong people. You know, I was immersing myself in activities and actions that were taking me away from my truth. And so coming back home was an opportunity for me to truly reflect on what's the next step in my path, in my journey, and how do I truly maximize my potential rather than squandering it. And that statement right there became our mission statement, you know, for the brand. How do we help other people maximize their potential? And so starting that brand at such a young age, as you can imagine, you're like a fish out of water. There's so many different things to learn, but you had the opportunity, like I said there, to learn so much and acquire so many different skills as a founder of a business, whether it's marketing, sales, content creation, creative direction, learning how to manufacture clothes from A to Z. And I think during that journey as well, too, as I was working other jobs as well, I got into door-to-door sales, which really allowed me to learn how to build authentic relationships with other people, especially if you're going to random neighborhoods, knocking on random doors. No one's going to buy something from someone they feel it's a stranger, really, you know? So how do you create that common ground in those first few seconds, in those first few moments? And so that became an art that I loved to perfect and led me into selling luxury cars at a luxury automotive dealer, Lincoln, here in Columbus, Ohio. And that's when things really took off for me. Just the caliber of people that I was working with were CEOs, founders, leaders at different organizations. And I was a top salesman, you know, from 20 to 21, just really fully immersing myself. And there was no, I don't really love the word sales. it's relationship building. Really, it's building a friendship, and being able to add value to that person in that friendship, and learning how to do that in such creative ways where you can be yourself. But from that point, I moved out to San Diego, California. That was a big leap for me back in 2021. I only had lived in Columbus at that time. And, that's when I dove into Web3 and crypto. I got immersed into some of the different communities there. SDNFT Friends, shout out to Val. She's one of the founders of that community. Ethereum San Diego, my friend Chad and Chase founded that community as well. And that's when I really started to learn the power of blockchain, and just the potential of impact it has from a global standpoint, not just on a financial perspective, but empowering creators, empowering artists, empowering founders to take ownership over what they're doing, whether that's their data, their art, any type of content. And once I got into the space, it was specifically, I joined a global recruiting agency called Hammond Williams, and I built out their Web3 vertical from scratch. It was my first time doing recruitment, but the beauty of recruitment is that it's all about relationships. It's all about building trust, building connection, and helping people find their next dream opportunity to go and 10x, 100x their lives. Once again, maximizing potential. And rather than me just being another, recruiter in the industry, I wanted to build a personal brand. I wanted to really let my personality shine through. And so that's kind of how I got pivoted into Web3 and crypto, was just diving in within the community, and also building a personal brand specifically on LinkedIn, where I just showed other people who I am as a person, whether that was me going out into the mountains, reflecting, me jumping on a Twitter space and talking about talent and recruitment, finding opportunities in crypto, or going to conferences and sharing content, and photos from that experience and the wonderful people that I met.
Very inspiring story, and I definitely think it's one that some of us can connect with, especially in the beginning. And then to see where you are right now, it's incredible. So I want to dive down a little bit deeper into your career path. You've done so much. What drove you to take risk and pursue different opportunities, from when you mentioned door-to-door sales to even hosting retreats, building partnerships, making relationships in Web3?
There's no growth without discomfort, right? And so I'm someone that's always been extremely ambitious, even dating back to when I was playing soccer. I was the captain of our team my senior year, became All-State, and led us to a really just great season and journey. And so I'm someone that's always hungry for more, always hungry to lead and create opportunity, not only for myself, but others. I feel like my just mission in life is to create greatness. And true greatness is not something that you just celebrate individually. It's something that you share with the world. And so for me, as someone that really embodies mindfulness and reflection and tapping into myself, I feel like that comes with a lot of reflection. And quickly I'm able to kind of identify when I've outgrown, a specific experience or opportunity that I'm in, and when it's time to take that leap, when it's time to step into that unknown or that uncertainty to continue leveling up in my professional career.
So you've worked with some amazing brands like Azulik and Selena. What was it like creating some of this cinematic content for these luxury brands?
Yeah, it's a good question. Last year was, I feel like, the year of experimentation for me. I guess the origin for that is my partner, Elise, that I met last year in February. She introduced me to content creation, I guess, from my own perspective. She had a drone. We both later on in that year got our drone licenses and started reaching out to different brands, specifically to create content for luxury resorts, and travel brands. And so a friend of mine, Amy O'Gara, she hosted her very first retreat in Tulum in September of last year. She invited us out to be a part of that experience and help her create content for her website, her brand. Wonderful experience. Really good friend of mine. Met her in San Diego. She was my yoga instructor. And me being me, wanting to really make the most out of that opportunity as well, I went out a week earlier, reached out to a couple different brands, Selena and Azulik, to gain that experience, to build our portfolio working with those type of brands. I mean, the experience was unique. You know, I will say, like, I think we quickly learned that wasn't the path that we wanted to take, but I think it was an indicator that we are able to attract really global brands to create cinematic content. I know that 2 videos that we created for both Azulik and Selena generated over 100,000 views on Instagram. And that was our first ever time creating for other brands, which was pretty crazy. And the way we connected with Azulik, which is a brand that I've been inspired by for years now, one of the most beautiful, like, interior design and just marketing strategies I've ever seen from a brand. I met this woman named Teresa. She's the head of Forbes Mexico. We grabbed some smoothies at this wonderful place called Holistica in Tulum, and she invited me to a luxury real estate event in Tulum. And so my partner and I went. A ton of just wonderful people there. Funny enough, the event was spoken in Spanish completely, so we didn't really know what was going on, but we knew we were there for a bigger reason. And one of the people that was speaking there was the director of communications from Azulik. And I went and introduced myself. We exchanged numbers. I reached out to him. He didn't get back to me immediately, followed up, and I was like, hey, we want to come out to your guys' hotel and shoot for our brand. And they were like, we typically don't do that type of partnership, but send us some of your work. Send them some of our work. They invited us to go stay there for a night, create 3 reels. And so I would just say, like, the lesson there is putting yourself out there. You never know what opportunities are going to be created, but if you don't take the action, if you don't embrace that discomfort to get there, they won't be created. And also, it's the power of relationships too. Leveraging LinkedIn. When I went to Tulum, I made sure months before I arrived that I was already reaching out to people that lived there that seemed like great connections for me to nourish that relationship and just see where it took me.
Wow, Remington, you have so many different talents. I don't think one that many people know as well is you're also a DJ. So,
Yeah.
So as a
Yeah.
DJ, I want to jump down on this question right now with Web3. You've performed for companies like Coinbase and Soho House. How does music fit into your overall mission of connecting people and building communities?
Music is such a beautiful tool in art. It really creates commonality between other people in such a unique way that offers this safe space to be vulnerable, to have fun, to explore. And it's just been such a transformative tool for me as I've traveled the globe to meet other people as well. And I've really fallen in love with house music specifically. I feel like it is a language that is universal and really connects communities from all over the world. And so for Vurtual, that's such a huge pillar of the brand, whether it's us hosting events, us doing live stream DJ sets, or just simply our content, the content we post. How can we create that emotional connection with our audience leveraging music? I think that's such an important pillar that people need to be mindful of as to the type of music that represents your brand. So.
Great answer, and I couldn't agree more. Sometimes music can be that huge connector to creating those relationships, like you said, and it's beautiful to see in that moment when that happens. So you've spoken at major Web3 events like ETH Denver, which is coming up soon, and ETHCC. What do you think is the most exciting development in Web3 right now?
Mm. Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's still like unlimited potential in the space. Um, I would honestly still go back to like the aspect of community building. I really want to harp on this. There's still such a huge opportunity for brands and creators to leverage technology like NFTs in the right way to create strong knit communities in their own unique way on their own terms. And we've seen, bigger brands like Doodles and Pudgy Penguins really emerge out of crypto, and now they're global names. And so I think there's still a great opportunity to go past the financialization of crypto right now and leveraging the blockchain for good, public good. How do we create positive impact using this technology rather than just focusing on the next 10x, the next 100x? So, yeah, I'll always bring that back to just community because that's what brought me in the space, and I still think that is the greatest opportunity out there for other people right now.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that. Your knack for fostering connections has allowed you to create impactful partnerships that are fueling growth and innovation. Can you share an example of one of these partnerships?
Yeah, totally. I would say, while I was at Proof of Talent, um, when I joined the team, we quickly spun the podcast back up. And I wanted to use that as an opportunity to really like nourish relationships with potential partners and just people that we believed in the space. One brand specifically that we worked with early was Dragonfly Capital. Shout out to Zach Skelly and Chris on the talent team. We had them come on multiple times actually. Whether it was a LinkedIn Live, they did an internal training for our team, and also the podcast. But that led to us supporting their portfolio of different venture-backed teams for hiring and finding talent. So I feel like that like this approach in general of creating opportunity for potential clients, people that you already believe in within the space to showcase their brand, showcase their journey, their story, is such a great way to start building that relationship, right? We didn't use that tool specifically to get new clients because that's very transactional. We allowed the relationships to develop and just build trust and credibility for our brand. And that's what I would say is like when you're looking to do new partnerships, I think brands are going to be looking for you as a business to see that you already have that credibility, that you already have the industry knowledge to execute and deliver results.
Remington, I have this question. Do you think with the, the authenticity of the employers, the individuals, is that something that has to be presented and shown up when doing Web3 partnerships versus what you've seen probably in Web2 partnerships?
Yeah, Web3 is a relationship game for sure. To be honest, like I did minimal like cold outreach
Yeah.
to bring on new partnerships, new clients, because it really is about who you know and who the people that know you, if they trust you. And so, for a couple of years within the industry, I was traveling all over the world, going to different conferences, meeting new people and establishing my name and just who I am as a person. I'm going to those conferences with the goal to create friends. I think sometimes these businesses put a lot of pressure to return with a massive ROI, and you'll probably get a greater ROI if you have less pressure, on your team to deliver results. And just know that it's not like the relationships take time, and you can't expect, I guess, revenue, sales, whatever it may be, to be extracted immediately. Like I said, it's about establishing that credibility and building trust over time. But, there are those unique cases, though, where you do go to a conference and the person you're talking to needs the exact solution to their problem. And those are also perfect examples and opportunities to build great relationships.
It's great to hear. So let's step back a little bit. Let's go into mindfulness and presence. Are these two things a key theme in your work? Because I've seen your posts on LinkedIn. You are extremely into showing, mindfulness and taking the time to kind of connect with you. How do you think these practices can help individuals unlock their potential?
Totally. I think it's the number one key, in my opinion. I would say I'm where I am today because I've leveraged those tools as an opportunity to get to know myself. And that's the key right there. It's really hard to be consistent or create your own path if you don't have that clarity as to who you are and the things that you love to do, and more importantly, the things that you don't. And so since 2020, which is when I first started meditating, it was introduced to me by a friend, Sweetman Dottie. He's probably one of the top developers in Web3, super mindful guy. I've been on this journey of just consistent slowing down to speed up and understanding yourself and some of those triggers and those stressors within your body and what they might be telling you. And I think mindfulness is such a great tool to understand that aspect of yourself. And I mean, really, the internal world that you create within yourself will attract the external opportunities that are going to be presented for you. I 100% agree. Like, I'm not someone that I don't outwork other people necessarily. I definitely would say like I'm a hard worker, but the hard work that I do is inside myself. No one sees behind the scenes from 2024 the amount of healing work that I was doing on myself to get to where I am now. Letting go of things that aren't serving me, whether it's from childhood or, tragic experiences that I've had as an adult. We have to be able to face those things within ourselves to work through them, or else it's just going to continue to linger and get bigger and bigger. So don't be afraid to dive into the things that are scary, because on the other side of that fear is opportunity. It's love, it's light, and it's abundance.
That, I couldn't agree with you more on that 100%. That's unbelievable what I just heard. But I want to jump into Vurtual now. Vurtual is more than just a clothing brand. It's a community-driven platform. Can you tell us about your vision for Vurtual's future growth?
Totally. Yeah, it's honestly surreal to be working on this brand again to the capacity of doing it full time. I was watching an interview of myself 2 months after I started the brand in 2018. My best friend interviewed me, and at the time he wasn't, his name's Jaden Hefner, but I said in that interview, Vurtual is a movement, and that really surprised me. I watched this a few days ago, and just that very exact message, like right now in 2025 in our world, when I look at the state of our society, there's not enough love, there's not enough positivity. And so it's our mission at Vurtual to empower individuals that seek more within their lives, more joy, more abundance, more opportunities, more success, whatever how they define that. And so for Vurtual, at the core, it's providing the tools and resources for our community to be able to acquire those skills and opportunities. That could be done through educational content like a podcast or a masterclass with an individual that I believe in that has an expertise in a specific area, like cultivating peace or attracting financial abundance or creating meaningful relationships, right? There's not like one specific, like all of those things are so important to becoming a complete human, to becoming your ultimate self. There's always an area that we can continue to improve on. And so for us, it's how can we provide expertise in all of those areas? So, right, education is one pillar, events and retreats. I hosted my first retreat last year in Tulum with 7 different creators from all over the globe. Such a unique opportunity for them to, one, meet people from different cultures, different backgrounds, people are speaking different languages, to get exposure to different parts of the world and how people think differently, and also do it in such a beautiful place where they can, I always say a new environment creates a new perspective. And then being able to walk away with those relationships, hopefully for the rest of their lifetime, people that are also extremely passionate about transformation and making a positive impact in the world. And I would say too, with the community aspect, being able to have a home of other like-minded people that you can interact with on a day-to-day basis within a group chat, eventually being able to meet those people in person, various different types of events as well too. So the future of the brand is a lifestyle. It's not just, like you said, clothing. Clothing is the armor, the self-actualization tool, an opportunity for people to put something on that represents something bigger than themselves.
You recently announced plans to create a website showcasing Vurtual's history over the past 7 years. What inspired this decision?
Yeah, I think a lot has happened in the past 7 years. I built the brand in Columbus, Ohio. I have really strong community here, but it's also would love to show the world, where we come from, the origin of the brand, the clothing, the content that we've already produced. The content is what has always separated us as a brand, the marketing, and just being able to tell stories with the photos, the videos that we've created. And so it's an opportunity for people to really understand who we are and know that what we're doing hasn't changed. It's just evolving. It's just getting better. And now we're learning to leverage other technologies to enhance the experience for our community.
For anyone watching this right now, I definitely recommend going right to Remington's page and Vurtual's page. Their content is unbelievable. The visuals, the videos, it's just out of this world. So definitely go check this out. Speaking on that, in one of your recent posts, you mentioned that quality content that tells a story builds an emotional connection to your audience. Can you elaborate more on this idea? We've heard you speak a lot during this interview about community and connections, but sometimes I don't think we really truly understand what that entails and what that requires.
Totally. So going back to, speaking on the content, every piece of content we put out needs to come back to our core message of empowerment. And so in my eyes, our content creates this relatability, this vulnerability, speaking the unspoken to our audience about some of the different challenges and just experiences that people are going through on a day-to-day. But how do we turn maybe those negative, dark experiences into light and positivity? And so being able to think about your content in that way builds an emotional connection with your audience because it creates that relatability. We're all going through it. We're all struggling in our own unique ways, but we need other brands like Vurtual to emerge to tell stories in a very unique way too, to inspire other people to take action, to wake up, to chase their dreams, to step into the unknown and embrace the discomfort as a vehicle for growth.
Absolutely. Definitely agree with you on that. It definitely makes a difference when you see content like that that connects with you, because that content can push people out of bed sometimes where they're in there and they're just unmotivated. So definitely agree with more important content in our media is needed right now. Speaking on that a little bit more, though, as someone who values vulnerability, connection, creativity, can you walk us through what goes into directing some of your photo shoots with other creatives? What's been some of your favorite experiences or shoots that you've done?
Yeah, totally. Um, Preparation is always key, right? But also really knowing your brand, like become your brand. If you're a founder, CEO, creative director, like you really need to embody the values of your brand, and that makes everything so much easier. And for us, it definitely showed in the photo shoots and content as well. Um, and so, I mean, it's a lot of just like ideation, vision boarding, to start. Like, what are other brands and dope creators that we're inspired by doing? What do their visuals look like? How do we create that in our own unique way? Um, and then the actual experience of being there, like, also like scouting models, is like people that you feel like are going to be great representations of the brand that also have their own communities and will represent this movement in such a unique way. Um, but being there on set, right? That those are some of my favorite experiences because sure you're creating, you're making beautiful moments, but it's also the conversations that you're having with these other models. And a lot of the time we work with people that we didn't know, and it's a great opportunity for us to share our mission, but also learn how can we help them? How can we help this creator, this model reach their goals, and build that friendship that's going to last a lifetime, and just let them know, like, we're here to support you. We're here to be the portal to your dreams. Probably one of my favorite shoots we did was at this immersive indoor like futuristic set called Otherworld. It's here in Columbus, Ohio. It's very similar to like a Meow Wolf, and I think we had 6 to 8 models for that shoot, and we had 2 videographers slash photographers. One of them, Aiden Minton, the other one, Wenson. Both some of the top creators in the world now. Have worked with brands like Messi, Drake, Ty Dolla Sign, Bugatti, and just being able to have so much talent in one room to create basically our latest video back in 2020 for 2040 A Dark World was just such an honor to have people want to represent the brand and help us share this story and this movement with the world.
Remington, are there any individuals that inspire your creativity at times?
Mm. Yeah, it's a great question. I would I would say not just creativity, but just to keep going. I would say my partner Elise. I feel like since I met her back in February of last year, she's allowed me to step deeper and deeper back to authenticity and into my truth as a person, and inspires me to do more and be more and put myself in those uncomfortable situations, because what we're creating as a couple, as a future family, is a legacy. It's not just for us, right? It's for the world. It's for the future kids, future family, and so that's a responsibility that I'm excited to be stepping into, and just pushes me to continue exploring and trying new things to level up as a person. You spoke about the DJing, the drone pilot, now learning how to leverage AI to create content. There's so many different things since I've met her that I've evolved and stepped into, and we both create a safe space to chase our dreams. We always encourage it, always talk about it, and it's so important to have an amazing partner, an amazing support group, friends in your life to get to the next level, because you become the people you're surrounded by.
Absolutely. I have a poster in my office right now that says something along the lines, you're the books you read, the TV shows you watch, the people you hang out with, the music you listen to. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing right there, that you're able to find a partner who can help you and inspire you to grow. For entrepreneurs and founders, creatives, artists listening, what advice would you give them on how they can use their way or purpose as a way to build strong connections with individuals in the community beyond product itself?
Totally. And this is something I'm still figuring out, learning daily, you know. I love Simon Sinek. Start with why, right? Truly understand your purpose. What are you excited, what are you excited about? What's going to get you out of bed and just be absolutely stoked to do it daily? Like for me, this podcast, right? I wasn't feeling the greatest yesterday, but I knew I had the opportunity to come and speak to you and share my journey, share my purpose with the world, with your community. And don't focus on how you can profit off of your passion immediately, right? When money comes into play, that creates fear at times. And your community and your audience can feel when you're creating from fear versus out of love. So do this out of the enjoyment and passion, not just to create another dollar. You're always going to be able to make money. I would be a millionaire right now if I wasn't figuring out how I could do what I could love, right? But that, for me, the things that I do in life are really, really important. How I spend my 40 hours, 60 hours a week mean a lot to me. So just really reflect on the things that you love, and don't feel like you have to have it all figured out immediately. We don't have it all figured out. We're still learning every day. We're still figuring out how we can bring this vision to life. And just know too, you can't do it alone. It's going to take a village. It's going to take your community stepping up and helping you. So be willing to let go of power and responsibility as soon as you can, but never let anyone take away from that creative vision. Always keep the creative vision close to your heart, close to your chest.
Right on. Great words to end this off on. Unbelievable. Finally, before we let you go, what message would you want our audience here today at Only the Savvy to take away from our conversation, and how can they stay up to date with your work at Vurtual going forward?
Totally. We'll start with staying up to date, super active on LinkedIn. Can definitely shoot me a connection, Remington Rodney. We're also, Vurtual has a page as well. Instagram at vurtual.co. Website's coming soon as well. Will be vurtual.co. Twitter at join Vurtual, and then we're also on YouTube as well, but at Vurtual. So would love for you guys to continue following the journey and joining our community. And just to take away, I think now is the time. There's never been a better time. Our world needs you, each of you, to step up and emerge and create more love and positivity in this world, or else things won't change. And so it starts with us. And so that's what I've raised my hand to do. That's what I'm dedicating the rest of my life to doing, is creating a movement of transformation and joy.
Right on. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Remington, for joining our show today. We really appreciate it. All of your insights, your journey, the adventure you've been on, and where you're going. It's unbelievable. So we can't wait to see. Everyone watching right now, please go check out Remington's LinkedIn page. It will definitely help you to motivate you, inspire you, get you out of bed. I can say for myself, it definitely has helped me at moments that I needed help. So definitely check out Remington's page. And for all of our savvy viewers, don't forget to like, hit subscribe, and if you want, share our videos with anyone that you know who may find this interesting. But until again, everyone, stay safe and stay savvy. Bye now.
SIM swap fraud is sweeping the globe, and your mobile security is at risk. Switch to Efani and lock out SIM swap fraud and get the most elite mobile protection in the world. Efani guarantees 100% protection from SIM swaps backed by a $5 million insurance policy. Stay secure with reliable coverage, free international roaming, and unlimited data. Trust Efani to keep your communications and assets secure. Get military-grade protection, 24/7 concierge service, and a hassle-free upgrade. Click the link below for $150 off. Thanks for watching. Help support this channel and receive exclusive offers from one of our partners located in the description. We'll see you on the next one.